Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone. Today we are continuing our discussion on the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. And this week we had the appearance day of Lord Vamanadeva. And Lord Vamanadeva appeared as in the sixth Manvantara. Manvantara number 6. We are on the seventh Manvantara to the sixth Manvantara. So it's very recent, you know. And Lord Vamandev appeared um, during the Dwadashi, which we performed, which we observed. And this Dwadashi, that's why the Ekadashi that we had, we observed both. Lord Vamandev's appearance day is a half-day fast. Now, Lord Vamandev's appearance day is remembered all over the world, especially in India. With South India, they observe Onam as a ceremony as well in Kerala, and that is where Bali Maharaj also is glorified and worshipped. So here, as we start our discussion is for today is how the Lord is partial towards his devotees. Although we know the Lord is very impartial to everyone, but still is partial to his devotees. How does this inconceivable both ways, partial and non-partial together? This is what we'll discuss today, and we'll try and meditate. So this pastimes begins about Lord Vamandeva's appearance much before this appear. There's a big war going on between the demigods and the demons, and the demons were destroyed. I mean, the demigods were overpowered by the demons at the time, and as they were overpowered by the demons, they went to Lord Brahma, requesting for help. Lord Brahma took them to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva then took them to Lord Vishnu. See, so many times it's the demigods who win, and many times the demons who win, the Daityas. And don't think that Krishna, Lord, doesn't appear with the Daityas. He may be siding towards the demigod, but he also appears for demons too. Like we know, Lord Nrsimhadev appeared for to keeping the word of his pure devotee Prahlad Maharaj, who was a Daitya. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, our best among the Daityas, the best among the Daityas is Prahlad. See? So here, in this particular episode, when the demigods worship and go to Lord Vishnu, Lord Vishnu tells them that you asked him, we have to play some cunningly, So you ask them that there is nectar, and if all of us can work together, then we can find that nectar, but we can get immortality. And to get this immortality, and then the demons will start to think, Daityas, that okay, we have defeated the demigods anyways. The foolish people are asking our help to take for finding the poison. Sorry, the nectar. And they thought, Lord Vishnu tells them that they will think that we will overpower the demons, the demigods, and will take all the nectar amongst us. So they'll think like it, but don't worry, I'll help you. And we'll get the nectar. It will be given to the demigods. So this is how the plan was hatched. And the demigods approached Bali Maharaj. They know Bali Maharaj is very reasonable person, very important person, and a very reasonable person. So they approached him. Bali Maharaj said, okay, sounds all win-win to us only, not to you. We are okay with this. Let's do it. So it's a big story. Samudra Manthan is a very big katha. A lot of instructions from it too. And a lot of things comes out during the Samudra Manthan, including goddess of fortune also comes during the Manthan. And as we understand, poison also comes. That's where Lord Shiva accepts this poison and he drinks the poison. That's why his throat becomes blue in color. That's why it's called Nilakanta. Yes. So we understand these pastimes. We've heard about these pastimes. Now, after all this is done, Lord Vishnu appeared as Mohini Murthy, the very most beautiful woman. So beautiful that the demons did not even dare to question her. They voluntarily gave up their own choice of decision making. He said, we are giving up voluntarily our choice to make decisions to you. You decide whatever you want to do. So she kept the demons away and demigods separately and gave all the this thing to the demigods. That's how she cheated the demons. All this situation happened, and then the demigods attacked the demons. So big fight happening, and so much so that from the position of strength, the Daityas, headed by Bali Maharaj, were defeated. In fact, in the fight, it was it was so ferocious fight where Indra was in his elements, where all kinds of weaponry was used by the demons, and uh, Lord Indra could overpower them. And with that in mind, all the demons were destroyed. So it's again a big story, big pastimes of it, very instructive. But here again, we had Bali Maharaj. He actually got killed. He died by Indra. He was such a powerful personality. Now, knowing the plan and the vision, with the divine vision, Narad Muni appears and he tells the demons, you take away this nearly dead, your Daitya king, Maharaj Bali, and take him away right now to a secluded place. He tells them to go at a particular place. It's on the hills. And there, under the care of different brahmanas, from the Brigu family, they took care of him. And time passed, various long ages passed through. The demigods then became very powerful. They ruled over the whole three worlds, you know, the low planetary system, middle planetary system, and upper planetary system. And after that, when Bali Maharaj were revived to his full strength, along with other demons also, that is when Shukracharya, their guru, gave them a magic potion. And this magic potion, Sanjeevani, is where they became nearly immortal. That was the power of the guru. So we must not think that only Brihaspati had the power as the guru of the demigods, and Shukracharya would not have. No, he had. With this situation, um, Shukracharya told them, now you can go and get back your kingdom. As they went to get back the kingdom, they were in big force. The description is given in Bhagavatam that it was such a big force. And with Bali Maharaj approaching Indrapuri, where Lord Indra resides, and the description of Indrapuri is given how beautiful it is, where how the residents live there, the facilities that has been given to Indrapuri. That's where we have Bali Maharaj surrounding this whole area of Indrapuri. Seeing this and looking at the situation with the prowess of Bali Maharaj, Lord Indra immediately went to his guru, Brihaspati, and says that, what do we do, my lord? It looks like Bali Maharaj come with a big vengeance, and it seems that we cannot overpower him. He seems to be very, very powerful. What is to be done? Please guide us. How do we break this jinx? How do we break this attack? So Brihaspati, with all honesty, in his whole thinking, he meditated and said that it's not possible because their guru Shukracharya has given them a magic potion. Now they are invincible. Just see this honestly. Otherwise, normally in Kali Yuga, You would have somebody coming as a guru, he will find his own ways to do things, and cheat the disciples also further. Because he had honestly said, I can't do anything about it. Neither can you. So what is to be done? Indra asked. So Brihaspati told them that, well, run, leave Indrapuri, leave the heavenly planets, and go disappear. He said, what? They're going to chase us. He said, yes, they are going to chase you. No doubt about it. They'll kill you. So what do we do? So disappear. Disappear from the vision. I think I mentioned these few points in our Bhagavad Gita class. Our Maharaja instructed me on similar points. They said disappear. So it was so, in such a pitiful condition. Just imagine from the Samudra Manthan situation where Lord Vishnu helped him as Mohini Murthy to this where they were totally down and the demons, Daityas came up and they ran. They gave up the heavenly planets. Lord Indra had to give up his planet, his palace. Now, he had to give his palace many times. Even when Hiranyakashipu took over, he had to give up. So here, Hiranyakashipu's great grandson, because grandson is Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj's father is Hiranyakashipu. So Prahlad Maharaj's son's son is Bali Maharaj, Virochan's son, King Virochan's son. So Bali Maharaj entered unopposed to Indrapuri and he sat on the throne of Indra. All the demons ruled all the three planetary systems, three planetary systems. Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. And Indra and all of them vanished. Now, as time passed, time went by, and again, in other Manvantara also, Indra had to vanish like this. There is one particular case where old age and disease, because of the insult given by Lord Indra to a Brahmana, he was cursed with old age and disease. So when old age and disease came in the form of an old woman, wicked woman, chasing him, he ran from the woman and he ultimately took shelter. He hid. Just see, Indra. He himself hid under a lotus stem. He hid there for many years under the stem of a lotus flower. And after, when the curse was over, he came out with a request. So Indra again ran here. He had to run away down. The current situation also. So do not think that all powerful, he's got the Vajra, so he's all. No. And the power of the Brahmanas is very effective. So he said, okay, run. They all ran. As time went by, then Indra's and all the demigods' mother, Aditi, she was very distressed. Mother Aditi, she said, my children are thrown out from their kingdom. My palace of my Indra's is finished. It's taken overpowered by the demigods, by the demons. What to do now? She was waiting for her husband to come, Kashyap Muni. He was in deep meditation, in trance. So after a long time when he came back to home, he could see his wife was very morose. And he asked her, what happened? Did you dishonor any guests? Did you dishonor any brahmanas? Did you not have in our home as religious ceremonies been stopped? He said, no, all this is okay. He said, then what is the problem? Then something has happened surely about your sons. Tell me what has happened. He said, this is how clever Kashyap Muni was. He's a Mahajan. He said, yes, my lord, we're in big difficulty. You help us. We have been thrown out from our kingdom and they are hiding. They've disappeared and all the demigods, all the demons have come now. These demons have taken power and are in charge of everything, including Indra's palace. So what do we do? Please help. Now just see, it is very important to understand here Kashyap Muni was also in a difficult position because Kashyap Muni had another wife, which is Diti, and from Diti were born all the Daityas. So even the demons were his children. So he had demigods also children, devas and Daityas also. That was his position. But as Mahajan, nobody or no ordinary people can become Mahajan. He knew the prowess and the importance of the devas. You see? So he said, okay, he thought about things and he said, all right. Then he recollected. He told his wife, O Devi, Aditi, chaste one, so when I wanted to increase progeny, under the instructions of Lord Brahma, I prayed to Lord Brahma and I requested to Lord Brahma, please tell me, what should I do so that I can increase the population of this universe? Now we are so foolish to think, oh, I create children just like that. Ordinary person thinks like this. What is there to worship? Ask for it. No, we have one children, two children, three, four, five at the most, 7, 10 sometimes ago. Now we're not that. Here we're talking about millions of them. So how to bring them? It's not easy. You have such power, and the ladies also should have such power to do so. So he approaches Lord Brahma and says, my dear father, my dear creator, please tell me, how do I increase the population? Tell me the process of doing things. So Lord Brahma at that time instructed him that you must worship Lord Vishnu. And you must worship Lord Vishnu and with a particular vrata, a vow. That's called Payovrata. This Payovrata, dear devotees, is a very important and very unique kind of vrat. Even when we perform Ekadashi, it's just a vrat. Vow. Like we have taken a vow to chant certain number of rounds every day. So to be chaste, to Prabhupada's books, etc. So now, after getting instructions from Lord Brahma, Kashyap Muni performed that vrat, and that vrat, Payovrat, he instructed to his wife Aditi. And he said, you must do this vrat, my dear wife or blessed one. And actually, this particular vrat is performed over 13 days only. And payo meaning pure drinking of milk. So it's drink milking vrat. But of course, there are other elements also in it. But payo vrat meaning that. And he says that if the Lord is satisfied, he can give you the answer. You see, this is the point. This we have to understand this. That even he did not say that I can give you the answer. Tell me what do you want. He said the Lord will give you the answer. Perform this to satisfy him, this vrat, and if he's happy, everything will be pleased. So she performed Payovrat ceremony for 13 days. On the 13th day, the Lord appeared. Okay, and the Lord knew that she is performing this vrat not out of some pure devotion to say I want to go back to God. I just want your bhakti. She performed for her children. You see, the Lord helped him, and the Lord said, "I will come as your child," and that is the incarnation of Lord Vamanadeva. Lord Vaman came as the son of Kashyap Muni and Aditi, and then this description of how Lord Vamanadeva are glorified by the different demigods. They gave him certain things, even the earth gave things to him, and he became a dwarf, a Vatu, a dwarf brahmachari, Lord Vamanadeva. It is said that Lord Vamanadeva was very, very powerful. Of course, he's a supreme personality of Godhead, is powerful. But a small child, as a dwarf brahmana, was very cute as well to look at. And when he heard all the different the brahmanas, they perform the ceremony of his birth and the brahmacharya also, keeping Kashyap Muni in the center. With this in mind, when he heard that Bali Maharaj are now becoming so powerful that now he is performing yagna, Ashwamedha yagna. So this particular yagna was being performed by Bali Maharaj under the care and shelter of the Brahmanas who are from the Bhrigu dynasty, sage Bhrigu. So under their care, they were doing this. Like under their care, if you remember when Narad Muni told them to take away Bali Maharaj when he nearly died in fighting with the demigods, and these Brahmanas resurrected him. So the same way here, now they are performing this particular Ashwamedha Yagna. This Yagna was being performed on the northern side of Narmada river, a celestial place. So in this particular performance, Vamanadeva thought, I must go there. So the performance was going on. Lord Vamanadeva appeared there. Now, as you were approaching this Yagna sacrifice, all the different Brahmanas, Bhrigu Brahmanas, and the demons, including Bali Maharaj, started to think, who is this? So effulgent. The description given in Bhagavatam is such that one can infer that even the normal Brahmanas, if they are really good, the effulgence can be seen from their body and their face. Yeah, they're very bright. But they were also became very dull in front of the approaching of Lord Vamanadeva. So they started to think and argue with each other. Oh, I think he is Lord Sun and Suryadev coming, Vivaswan coming here, Suryadev. Then others said, no. He's Agni coming here. Others said, no. Sanat Kumar is coming here. And they were like discussing and arguing with each other about this whole thing. And while these arguments was going on, Lord Vamanadeva appeared. Bali Maharaj and everybody stood up, folded his hands, Bali Maharaj. Although from Daitya family, as we discussed, he had a great lineage. You see? So, Bali Maharaj welcomed him. He did not know actually who he was. He just saw the effulgence. He saw this. He said, great Brahmana, son of a Brahmana, Vatu, please welcome. You blessed us by coming to our ceremony. Now our ceremony is really successful. He washed his feet. Now this particular episode of washing Lord Vamadeva's feet is very significant because a comparison is done where with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is a Mahajan. And as you know, Bali Maharaj also becomes Mahajan after the acts that he performs. And one of them is this particular act that he worshipped the lotus feet of Vamanadeva and then took the water and sprinkled on his head and everywhere else. Now Lord Shiva is a Mahajan and he also accepts Ma Ganga, goddess Ganga, and places her on his head. Now, what is Ma Ganga? Ma Ganga is nothing but the transcendental reservoir of water which is from the Garbhodak ocean. Karanadak ocean. And what is that ocean coming from? Where is it coming from? From the toe of the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. The perspiration is this. So when the celestial Ganges is approached, he came and Vamanadeva only breached, while taking 3 steps. And Ganges flowed in. Out of great humility and with great respect, Lord Shiva accepted and placed Ma Ganga on his head. And that is what was comparison done with this the great Daitya king Bali Maharaj when he placed the lotus the water from the lotus feet of Vamanadeva sprinkle. And then he asks, my dear Brahman, you come here very nice, you come with a reason. Please tell us what is the reason you have come. And I'm here to give charity. He said, nobody in my dynasty, any king, has always given in charity. What do you want? He says, my dear king, there's a very beautiful verse on this. So the Vamanadeva informs this and he prays what he wants. He says, Tasmat Vato Mahim Asa Isad Vrune Aham Varadarshabhat Padani Trini Daityendra Sammitani Padamama. So he's saying, O king of the Daityas, from your majesty, who come from such a noble family and who are able to give charity munificently, I ask only 3 pieces of land to the measurement of my steps. Just see, he again clarifies this point. I want 3 pieces of land. It could be any measurement, right? He says, or the measurement of my steps. Now, Lord Vamanadeva was a dwarf, what too small brahmachari. And his very beautiful, delicate, small feet he had. But he asked only that. So Prabhupada explains this that Lord Vamanadeva wanted 3 pieces of land according to the measurement of his footsteps. He did not want more than necessary. But although he pretended to be an ordinary human child, he actually wanted the land comprising upper, middle, and lower planetary systems. And why did he do so? So this was just to show the prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he further clarifies that Nanyate Kamaye Rajan Vadanyaj Jagadishwarat Nainam Prapnoti Vai Vidwan Yavadartha Pratigraha. So here he further clarifies Lord Vamanadeva. He said, O king, controller of the entire universe, although you are very munificent and are able to give me as much land as I want, so I don't want anything from you that is unnecessary. Underline these words. Unnecessary. If a learned Brahmana takes charity from others only according to his needs, he does not become entangled in sinful activities. So we have to understand our needs and don't inflate our needs. As Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev says, our needs should reduce, not increase. We should have minimum, and that minimum should also reduce. Oof. Oh. So here, Prabhupada explains this point that all the Brahmanas and the Sannyasis, they have to learn from this, that what actually is needed by them, only that they should give. Extravagance should not be there, is to be avoided by Brahmanas and Sannyasis. If they do so, that's an insult to a devotional service, to religious practices. So we should be very careful. And those who have got resources like grahasthas who can earn money, even grahasthas should be working with minimum capacity and reduce that capacity. You see? So here, Bali Maharaj just gets surprised. He said, you're asking only for 3 pieces of land from your feet? You're such small feet, lovingly beautiful feet. He said, you are not very mature. Ask something more. I can give you an island. Now, what do you understand by island? What do we understand by island? He was not talking about island, means one North Island, South Island of New Zealand. Take one island, North Island. There's also a very big island, He's not talking about like this island. The answer is given in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Prabhupada says that the universe, there is ether, space, in which all the universes are floating. And Prabhupada says in each universe, in the space, all the planets are floating. And these planets are called as tapu, island. So Bali Maharaj was asking him, take a planet, means take one whole planet, not one. Take a tapu if you want, take it. According to your means, you want it. You want a beautiful woman for marriage, Brahman daughter, I can arrange for you. He said, no, give me only this. You see? And He said, okay, you want these three things, three steps. That time again, Bali Maharaj's Guru Maharaj, Shukracharya, approaches him and says, no, 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 you don't know this Brahman. He's no ordinary person. He's Vishnu. He's come here. He'll take away everything from you. All this that you have gained with so much hard work, he will take away. Don't give. He is fooling you. Bali Maharaj said to his Guru Maharaj, you generally do not oppose your Guru. He says, my dear Lord, if God has come himself begging from me, what is the greatest fortune? I'm nobody. He's the owner of everything. Let him take. So this is how Vamanadeva starts to pace his feet. In one step, he takes away whole of lower middle planetary system. Second step, in two steps, he finishes lower middle upper planetary system, all gone. And not he did not take one house or $1 crore or what $10 million and all those things. He took away everything, whole of this universe from Bali Maharaj. And once the two steps finished. So God can do any of these things. Today we may be very, very powerful. We may be very, very rich, very influential. It can go like this, finished. So this is how two steps is gone. And then he asked, where do I keep my third step? And Bali Maharaj, the grand disciple of the great Prahlad Maharaj, said, you got my head. I bow down my head to you. Step on my head. Just see, this has got different reasons. This has got different meanings for it. When the Lord or any great authority places their feet on your head, it's the biggest blessings you can take. This is how one surrenders one's ego, false ego. He surrendered himself, and the Lord very willingly put his feet on his head. This is the glories of Bali Maharaj. And we know that Bali Maharaj is in his kingdom currently also in Sutal, the lower planetary systems. He's the king of that. And it is said that his opulence there is equal to or greater than Indra's. And in the next Manvantara, the seventh Manvantara, the eighth Manvantara, Bali Maharaj is going to be Indra. Just imagine, Haribol! The Daitya demon is going to become Indra. It's forecasted there. So, so this is how Bali Maharaj, out of his surrender, his submissiveness, conquered the love and the blessings of Vamanadeva. Now, this is a good pastime. It's also very interesting to hear, very instructive. But I tell you, dear devotees, the real nectar comes when we actually decipher each of these instructions. And there are unlimited instructions in these pastimes. And I thought of meditating upon only on one, which is also with very limited capacity I'm trying to do so. And that particular instruction is about how the Lord is partial towards the devotees. Now we saw example of Kashyap Muni. Kashyap Muni is the father of both demons and demigods. But still he supported the demigods to regain this. Okay, we saw how Lord Vishnu became Mohini Murthy and cheated the demons to save the demigods. Now we come to this current episode where Aditi has performed Payovrat ceremony under the guidance of his guru and her husband Kashyap Muni. So after the completion of 13th day, as I told you, the Lord said, I'm pleased with you, I'll come as your son. But let us see, when the Lord says that I'm in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse number 29. The Lord says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti mam bhaktya mahite teshu chapyaham. So in our WhatsApp group, this was the last mantra which we sent, I think second last. I envy no one, Lord Krishna says, but I'm partial, nor am I partial to anyone. So I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all, the Lord says. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. Now, how does this manifest? How does he agree? And what things he has to do? Let us get into this. Once we understand this, then the real nectar flows. It helps our bhakti. You see, now let's come to the episode where the Payavrat ceremony is complete. The Lord is satisfied. He appears, and then Mother Aditi praised, glorifying Lord Vamanadeva. And then the Lord is speaking after being satisfied, after glorification is done. This is what he speaks. He says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Mother of the Demigods, I have already understood your long cherished desires for the welfare of your sons, who have been deprived of all opulences and driven from their residence by their enemies. So the Lord knows this is the desire. So although material desire, which is mother of the demigods, that's why he allows this. He says further, O Devi, O goddess, I can understand that you want to regain your sons because they had disappeared, and were in hiding, and be together with them to worship me. Very important. After defeating the enemies in battle and retrieving their abodes and opulences. See? So she knows. This is what she wants. Defeating the enemy and getting back their opulences. You want to see the wives of the demons lamenting for the death of their husbands. When those demons, the enemies of your sons, are killed in the battle by the demigods, of whom Indra is the chief. Just see here. He says, I know you actually want your enemies to be killed and their wives to lament that my husbands are killed. So your children would kill them. I know all these things that you want. You want your sons to regain their lost reputation and opulence and live again on their heavenly planet as usual. O Mother of the Demigods, now see, till now he's telling this and informing that I know your material desires. Okay? But I'm fulfilling that. The answer will come why. Obvious answer is that she's the mother of the demigods, and demigods worship Lord Krishna. That's obvious answer. But there are other answers also. But as we go into that, just see how the Lord is now thinking how to help the demigods. So just like when you are inside of somebody, you start to think like that. We must do this. We must make a plan. We must do this way. This will not work. This will work. This is what he does. Listen very carefully. It says, you want your sons to regain their lost reputation and opulence and live again on their heavenly planet as usual. O Mother of the Demigods, in my opinion, almost all the chiefs of the demons are now unconquerable, for they are being protected by Brahmanas, whom the Supreme Lord always favors. Thus, the use of power against them now will not at all be a source of happiness. See, this is how materially things. It's not right. You'll do anything you do, it will create disturbance only. You're not going to win. You won't win in this situation. He says, yet, because I have been satisfied by your activities of your vow, O goddess Aditi, I must find some means to favor you. For worship of me never goes in vain, but certainly gives the desired result according to what one desires and one deserves. You see? So here the Lord is saying, I have to make a plan how to fulfill your desire. This is not going to happen so easily. So let's make a plan how to think about it. He says, you have prayed to me and properly worshipped me by performing the great Payovrat ceremony for the sake of protecting your sons. Because of Kashyap Muni's austerities, I shall agree to become your son and thus protect your other sons. Here is the answer. I'll repeat again. You have prayed to me properly, worshipped me by performing the great Payovrat ceremony for the sake of protecting your sons. Because of Kashyap Muni's austerities, I shall agree to become your son and thus protect your other sons. This is the hidden answer. This is always thinking of me as being situated within the body of your husband, Kashyap. Go worship your husband, who has been purified by his austerity. And then he says, this is the most important thing he says, what we can learn, how in material things also we should do. He says, O lady, even if someone inquires, you should not disclose this fact to anyone. That which is very confidential is successful if kept secret. This is how the Lord, to this extent, He is favoring His devotees. He says, if you don't keep this confidential, you will lose everything. So that which is kept confidential is successful if kept secret. Because many people, they can't keep secret in their stomach, You give them something, they say, I have to say something, I have to say, they go and say something, And even in our devotional circles too, if you go and tell, don't tell this to anybody, everybody will know. So Lord is saying this, don't tell this to anyone, because if the secret is gone out, it is finished. Completely gone. So this is how the Lord actually is helping his devotees, although he is impartial. You see? And why he is helped is also understood. We looked at the Lord is equal to everyone, as he says in the Bhagavad Gita, that I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. So, with these pastimes of Lord Vamanadeva, let us pray that we gain favor of the Lord by gaining the favor of the devotees of the Lord. It's very, very important never to neglect devotees, especially those who have helped us in our bhakti. And everyone as well. We have to be very careful about Vaishnava aparadh. At the same time, we have to protect our bhakti also. This is very significant. When the Lord is an ultimate, the judge ultimately is the Lord. And when we get the favor of other Vaishnavas, in the shelter of the Vaishnavas, and we live to satisfy, we get instructed, our life becomes very smooth. When we feel sheltered from the Lord, that means something we are doing right. And we must continue and intensify doing that. Jai. Lord Vamanadev's Uncidental Appearance Day ki Jai. Granthraj Srimad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Uncidental Appearance Day ki Jai. Nitai God Shabda Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Now, as I've said, that I have certainly not completed and not discussed all different aspects of these pastimes of Lord Vamanadeva, which are extraordinary, which are unlimited. With all my limitations, all of you are very qualified devotees. if you would like to share your realizations on aspects which I have missed to add to the discussion, please feel free. Or if you'd like to have any questions, I will try my best to answer to the best of my ability if I can. Hare Krishna. Okay, there are viewers in our YouTube channel also. If you have something to say, please write down in the comment section, and I can read out your views. Just wait for 10 more seconds for anyone to respond, either live audience or through YouTube. Hare Krishna. No? Okay, so there is no questions, nothing to share. Then we'll conclude the discussion today. Thank you very much. Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Jai Gaurchandra Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we will do a small disconnect now for our YouTube viewers. And in about 30 seconds, we will be live again because we'll start with our next program, the beginners program on the Bhagavad Gita. Discussion on the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Hare Krishna.